want to give a little example of some of the weird things God has done in the name of, like, life experimenting. Say, the little tiny speck that's in a fly as a fly's spirit. One fly sees another fly, or even one bird sees another bird, something that you can see is more intelligent, because it'd have to be more intelligent. It is. I mean, but no matter what God has experienced, he's either only experienced it through their sense or their combination of senses and brain. Say, like, a rock, it's just a sense. It's just a sense or vibration. So, right now, because I can feel every rock from the beginning of time until now, because they are all now. Any thought of them or any whatever, even though it's billions and gagillions and possible combinations, it's hard to explain, but it's all still happening now. So nothing is impossible, if that makes sense to people. Nothing is impossible because it's all happening now. No matter where you go in your mind with whatever thought you fathom, well, what happens if right now is right now is right now is right now? I don't know. That's happening in a weird dimension. If that makes any sense. I mean, anything you can say or do or put together can be done in the mind. But then when you realize that our mind is a piece of the universal mind, anything can be done. So, I mean, you should be able to add those things together and see what I'm trying to say. I mean, I'm just trying to put it in the best words possible. So, like, in the name of life experiment, saying with a God, he would be, like, in a bird or a bug, whatever he's seeing through its eyes, he can't tell that it's a bird very well. Like, he might see it when he flies over the water, but he doesn't know that the bird isn't in the water looking up at him. He just thinks it's sort of weird that it's following him. You know what I mean? Some of them realized that there was reflection. That's how he started to learn how there was reflections. And then as time went on, reflections were known. People were like, hey, reflection. Yeah, it's my reflection. For a long time, people would, like, say the first caveman that went to wash his face in clear water and saw himself was like, blah, 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 you know, scared as shit. Because he didn't know what the hell a reflection was. Could you imagine how weird it was when all the first versions of that God experienced a reflection? Do you remember being young enough to remember the first time you saw your own reflection? Wasn't that weird? You're like, wow, that's what I look like? But by the time you saw it and realized it, because you were a baby being held up next to the mirror, you didn't think anything of it, didn't think anything of it. You were just there, still experiencing, not even knowing what you looked like. And then you get to a certain age and you realize that's a reflection. By that time, you've already been told it's a reflection without that comprehension in your mind that, oh, okay, that's my reflection. So that's what you become, and you follow it from that point on. I know how hard it is to understand, but until you know what you are, when you're told what you are and you believe it, you go from that point on. And you really make it hard to allow new adjustments to be believed in your own mind, because you're what you've always seen since you first sensed a sense and saw yourself in a mirror as a reflection, or any reflection you saw, the first picture of yourself you saw. When you looked in the phone and your mom goes, that's you, and you're like, that's me? You're like, wow, it's amazing. You know, everything that has ever been done the first time was amazing. The first person that ever felt a burp was like, whoa. The first bug that laid an egg was like, what did I just do? I mean, in bug, you know, it's not like it said that, but everything that has done anything for the first time is astounded by it. The first guy that created a Q-tip, I was him, and I remember looking at a Q-tip and being like, wow. And now when I look at everything, I remember it like I just invented it a second ago, because I'm living in a place of no space and time, because everything is so amazing. So you do have everything, and once you tap into the frequency, you can imagine it so strongly right now that you can make it so it looks like this, but it isn't this, and you know it's not real, but it looks like real. Or you can make it so crazy and imaginary, but you'll know that it's not real, but it's real because you're experiencing it. I mean, that's mind-blowing to think about and put together the right way, but it does happen. It does happen. Anyone who's wrote a video game, a scene in a video game, has at least felt it for long enough to be in that video game right in that scene. And then once they did it and watched it, they were like, wow. Because it made them feel like a god, because they created something. And you know why? Because we're all God, creating and creating and creating and creating. Every thought you think in every second is creating a vibration. So every second, everything is creating something. Every blade of grass, every stone. I mean, I don't have to go through the list anymore. But everything is creating something every second. It's crazy. Or if it's just staying in one spot, what it's creating is the ability to stay stationary and consist and maintain, whatever word you want to use. But as magical as it sounds, it's happening all around us every second of every day. But instead, we worry about all the stuff we don't have and the job we want or something like that. And it's really sad. I love you.